All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. And boy, do we have an update today. Bitcoin is exploding to the upside, breaking super key resistances, continuing to explode to higher levels, and it is not slowing down. Bitcoin is just really taking off here. We are seeing the break of the range. Now, guys, in yesterday's video, I want to highlight a couple things that I've been saying the past week here. In yesterday's video, when we made the video, we had that swing failure pattern of the lower high right at the value area high of our range, right here where my cursor is, around 88,600, 88,500, 88,600, right in this area. And I warned that when you see one exchange see an SFP of an internal high, but not the rest of the exchanges, oftentimes that is not the real high, and you will come up and you will continue pumping. Well, you can see we did see that small pullback from that area, just grabbed our range lows, and then we continued the explosion today to the upside, not only finally taking that liquidity around 89 to 90K that we have been looking at on the charts. I've been showing you guys this in videos for months, that this liquidity was acting as a magnet, not for months, for weeks, that this liquidity was acting as a magnet for Bitcoin to continue the relief rally, to at least come up to grab this liquidity. Now you can see all that liquidity has been grabbed. We have finally stopped out all that liquidity up there. But also, we continued. We did not just see the SFP of the range highs and dump. We continued to push up today. Money flow, look at the hour-long money flow. It looks, our time frame money flow looks so strong right now, and this will, even if the hour-long money flow kind of tops out and starts curving down a little bit, this will translate to the higher time frames. And I would not be surprised if Bitcoin is at 97K tomorrow. I mean, we are busting through very, very key resistances. We had that naked weekly point of control at 90K, no reaction, busted straight through it. I'm going to go ahead and delete that off the chart now. Also, if we go on to our other charts, one of the levels that I was looking at where I did take a small short from and at least got a TP1 off of is when we hit into this pitchfork here. We did hit into this pitchfork. I did take a small short off that, but we were seeing bullish CVD divs after rejecting from the first time from the pitchfork. So I took out 50% of my position and I moved my stop to break even because we were seeing bullish CVD absorption on the charts, and I got stopped out on the rest. It was a very, very small win, pretty much a break-even trade. But then you could see what happened. We broke above the pitchfork midline, back-tested the pitchfork midline, and right after we back-tested the pitchfork midline, look at this hour-long explosion to the upside. This hourly candle exploded to the upside, and we broke through the value area low of our previous range. So you can see right here on my chart around 93K. Let's zoom out to the 4-hour chart. On my chart around 93K was our previous range value area high. And I'm talking about this all-time high range. So if this is the range that I call the all-time high range. So if we just look at this value area low here of the all-time high range, we are breaking back into our value area of our previous range of balance in the market, our previous fair value for Bitcoin. And this is showing that Bitcoin wants to start trading back within this. Now, what we need to see, really, this is a higher time frame range. We want to see a weekly close back within this range. If we see a weekly close back within this range, we could see Bitcoin really start to take off and maybe even fill all the way to the value area high around $103,000. Also, guys, we were seeing signs of this ahead of time. Remember, we were hitting into our pitchfork band with multiple drives of bull div. And yes, we were looking for some pullbacks in here, but we got that flat range that happened here. That's a kind of triangle flat range that happened. And then we're now pumping to the upside, breaking key levels of resistance. So let's go ahead and get rid of all this local stuff here. This is no longer useful. You can also see we're breaking our anchored VWAP from the all-time high. Now on Coinbase, it is a bit higher than on the other exchanges, but we are still breaking our anchored VWAP from the all-time high, showing that Bitcoin is really kind of breaking this downtrend that we have been in for months. Now, guys, last week, I think it was last Wednesday and Thursday, when we were in this area consolidating for a week, and I was talking about this being bullish consolidation. We kept hitting up into our trend line, and I did say, this looks like bullish consolidation. If we can break above it and back test it, we are going to explode to the upside. And that is exactly what we did. And I also said that if we start closing daily candles outside of this trend line that's been holding us down for months, we will see a big explosion to the upside. And that's why I was warning about looking for shorts, just being careful, making sure you have confirmations. So I was looking to short all day long, but I did not see a signal to short. I shorted one time and it was pretty much a break-even trade. I mean, we saw this. Anytime you see these trend lines like this, and you see bullish consolidation here like we were seeing for a week, when you start to break that, back test it, you often see a volume follow through to the upside, a big explosion, either to the upside or if it's a bearish to the downside. But yeah, we were looking at this breakout of this trend line really giving us some fuel to push up, and we are pushing up. Also, 4 days ago in my video on Thursday, because I didn't make a video on Friday, Saturday, I did live stream on Sunday, but my last video on Thursday, I'm just going to go to this video real quick. And I was talking, I was covering Link, but this is towards the end of the video. And I was really just talking in general about all the coins and what we were seeing as far as market cipher B and confirmations for bullish continuation. And I'm just going to play this here real quick. And I think all these coins are looking primed for a breakout. I have to say that. Now, I am not saying that we are not going to see that small pullback first. I do think it's possible to see the small pullback first, but I'm talking about a small pullback before a much larger breakout to the upside. So right now, coins are looking strong. That's about it, guys. I mean, quick. Yeah, and we just saw signs of this coming, especially when Bitcoin was consolidating here for a week right below the trend line, and this really looked like bullish consolidation. Now, it is a real big shame that we did not come down to grab those 83K lows, because I was really looking to grab those lows and long those lows and then see the push to the upside. But we didn't get it. We missed it. We missed that, at least that particular trade, and Bitcoin is taking off. So you just move on to the next trade. Now, what I would like to say is Bitcoin is breaking back above the value area low of our prior all-time high range, and it's still looking strong. We are not really seeing too much bear divs on the chart on higher time frames. But I do want to give one warning here. So I've been kind of bearish overall for the past couple months because we've been looking at this bigger bigger dump to the downside after the 5-wave impulse completing. Let's actually zoom out to the daily here. After the 5-wave impulse completing, nope, that's not the daily, this is the daily. After the 5-wave impulse completing, we were looking for this bigger ABC correction to the upside where we come up to our 97K area of resistance, which is our golden pocket. Let me just, now that I've showed you guys this ABC correction, I am still concerned that we could put in a lower high and then come take our lows. So let me go back to the Coinbase chart. We've been downtrending for a couple months. We're breaking that trend line with volume to the upside, but I do want to give one warning here about a possible rejection at 97K or even 103K to put in a lower high for a B wave before seeing another C wave in a bigger A, B, C to the downside to complete this correction after our 5-wave impulse ended. Remember, this 5-wave impulse, after an impulse, you usually see a correction. Now, this is a high time frame impulse that lasted a couple years. So the correction should take some months to complete here. Now, when Bitcoin decides to move, it moves. And when it gets bullish, and it's like a runaway rocket. So right now, it's acting like a runaway rocket. So are many, many altcoins. But I would like to say here that 97K to 102, 103K area is going to be a crucial area where we might look for a lower high to come in for the top of the B wave before seeing another push down to take our lows. Remember, on our lows, we did have that double bottom low here where we did hit the 886. And as long as we don't take out our highs, we can still come down here and grab that 886 and see that low being taken. And if we go back to our Coinbase chart here, I want to talk about one thing here, because in an ABC correction, in your B wave to the upside, you're primarily looking for a 3-wave zigzag, right? You have your 5-wave impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you have your A wave, which you're looking for a mini 5-wave impulse. Your B wave is going to be a little 3-wave correction to the upside, and then another impulse to the downside in your C wave. So if we look at this, I mean, this is a real big mess, but there is ways to count this as an impulse to the downside, a big 5-wave impulse to the downside here. You know, you could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. And then what we're seeing here on this push up so far, we had this ascending, rising channel or rising wedge, whatever you want to call it, for push up. And then we saw a flat correction for about a week, which was last week. And now we are exploding up in an impulse in a possible wave C where we could finish our ABC correction. So let me go ahead and zoom in on the charts. And I just want to show you guys this. We just need to be aware of this as traders. We need to map out both the bullish and the bearish scenarios. So you could see this was our like rising wedge or, contracting diagonal in your possible A wave. Our B wave was a flat correction. And then if this is a C wave, where are your targets to end the C wave? Well, if you just go from the lows to the highs to the lows, with this being a B flat right here, that's why you're not putting it at this high. With that being a B flat in the correction, you are looking at your targets being the 1-to-1 to the 1.236. Well, look at where the 1-to-1 is coming in, pretty much right around our main area of resistance. Our main box for the end of the ABC is in this area between 96.3 and 97K, between 97 and 99, I'll say, or 96 and 99. So we still do need to be aware. What we are seeing today is there are a bunch of people that are starting to long the top on Bitcoin. Or I don't want to call it the top, but they're longing after huge percentage moves to the upside. They are longing in these areas where it is a bit more dangerous to long, because if we do start to dump and they get trapped underwater, that can give us that really big fuel long squeeze to the downside where we can see that liquidation cascade and see these kinds of impulses down like we saw here with the Bybit hack. So just be aware, this could be ABC, boom, and then dump. We right now, Bitcoin looks strong. We were seeing high time frame bullish signals for a relief rally. But as you know, the relief rally can often end with a lower high before actually coming back down and taking the lows. We are not seeing any sign of weakness so far. Bitcoin is looking hyper strong, like crazy strong right now. And I do think we could be at 97K tomorrow. I mean, it could happen overnight. It could happen in the next few hours the way Bitcoin's pumping now. But if we do zoom out to our daily candle, I will say this is unsustainable. You see this daily candle here? It is just a bit unsustainable to maintain this kind of bullish pressure to the upside. And if we look at our candle, our daily candle just closed 8% in a day, a $7,000 pump in one day. But we have a huge imbalance within this candle that we can absolutely, if we start losing our value area low, we could absolutely start flushing down really quickly to take all the imbalances within this candle. And what I would be looking for now as local support is the value area high of the previous range that we just broke, around 89K, 88.8 to 89K. That there, our prior highs are sitting there, and our value area high. So anytime you break a volume profile to the upside, if you do see a retrace, now you're going to back test that as support to continue higher. So I do want to say that Bitcoin right now is looking strong, and right now we actually have a higher probability to come up to 97K before coming down to 88, 89K. But I do want to say, if we do start to lose some momentum and have a retrace here, I would be looking at that 88, 89K level as a support level now, that where we could see a higher low come in on the charts and then continue up to 97K or even 103K. Okay, guys, that is pretty much it for Bitcoin. Let's go to our CBD actually real quick. I'm going to zoom out. Another thing that I do want to talk about, I was telling you guys and warning you guys about this, not warning you, just letting you guys know about the bullish CBD absorption that we were seeing from the contracting diagonal lows to, and when we were forming this range over last week. So if we look at our CBD here and our open interest overall, yes, I know I said that the open interest doesn't look the best because of all this chop in here of rising and lowing, but we did say technically you were making higher highs on the chart, you were making lower highs on your CBD, and your open interest was increasing in this whole push up on this whole week-long range that we were seeing. We were seeing some bullish CBD absorption, and this was giving me a bias that this consolidation range that we were seeing last week was bullish consolidation before a bigger move to the upside. I explained this in about 3 or 4 different videos over the past week. We were even seeing local bullish CVD absorption. And so, yes, it didn't look the cleanest, but it was technically printing on the chart. And we did say we had to pay attention to that because it was printing. While we're here though, let's go ahead and look at our last little push up that we're seeing right now. You're seeing a massive drop in our CVD, our open interest, excuse me. Our open interest is dropping. So this last little push we are seeing is a bit of some shorts getting squeezed out of the market. And they could continue to get squeezed out here. The thing is, we could continue this short squeeze. If this is just the start of a short squeeze, we could continue up to 97K today. If we really start to see some shorts that are shorting now when we don't have confirmation to short, they get trapped instantly underwater, it will give us the fuel to push us up to 97K. So just want you guys to be aware of that. If we zoom in on the hourly chart, money flow is looking hyper strong, but it is getting a little bit toppy. And you can see here very locally, higher highs in the price action, lower highs in the momentum waves. We are starting to find a bit of some bearish divs here. Not the best looking bearish divs. Like I'm definitely not shorting off of that. And if we go to the 4 hour, no bear divs at all. Money float is not even rising that much. It looks pretty good still. And if we go zoom in, like let's do the 15-minute chart here. So this is where it is starting to get a little bit signs of some over-extinction on the move up. But you can see money flow, I've often said this, money flow will overpower bear divs unless you have multiple drives of bear divs. Well, you can see here, we do have some bear divs on the chart here, but money flow is still curving up pretty nicely here on the 15 minutes. So what we could see develop here, we're starting to find a little bit of exhaustion on this hyper push up, but we could continue to grind up in like this ascending channel that we kind of are seeing here on the charts right now. We're starting to form an ascending channel here. We could continue to grind up in this ascending channel until we get to 97K, seeing those multiple drives of bear div come in on the 15-minute, and then that would allow for the hourly to get multiple drives of bear divs as well, hitting into 97K, where we would then have a giant imbalance candle to look at a retrace. At least if we hit 97K, I do expect us to find some resistance here. If we break through this right away, then man, Bitcoin's going to be, call the bears up and tell them to go to bed. They're going to be crying, man. They're going to be crying hard because Bitcoin, when it decides to pump, it really goes. But let's just say 97K is still the area. We have so much resistance up in this area, guys. We have a naked monthly point of control. We have a naked weekly point of control. We have a fresh weekly level. We have our ABC one-to-one correction target zone within that area. We have the point of control of our previous all-time high range. Let's zoom out on here. Our previous all-time high range point of control is up in there. And we have our macro golden pocket. If you take that golden pocket from the all-time high down to our lows, you can see that macro golden pocket is coming in there as well. This 97K area is the toughest area on the chart to crack. I mean, it is the area where we need to be watching for a bigger pullback from this pump. Now, if we do break 97K, there's not much else. I mean, we have some liquidity grab of the highs before the Bybit hack. I would say we do need to pay attention to these highs right up here at 99.5. But other than that, and you can see that's also right where our 1.236 ABC correction would be. So I would be looking at that as a level. I'm going to keep that in mind on the chart as a level. Let's actually just do this. Let me do SFP, and then let me do, I just want to mark this right now. Okay, 99.5 SFP, and then we will throw that in our SFP folder. Okay, so that is an area that I am going to be watching because it does have confluence with that 1.236 fib extinction target. Now, if we break 99.5, I mean, it's pretty much guaranteed we're going to come up to this 103K area. It's really between 101.5 and 102.5. But you can see if we take that golden pocket, let me get rid of this little channel here. And I know I've got this on the chart somewhere. Maybe not. Okay, let's just re-pull it. Let's go pull that Fibonacci again from the all-time high to the lows. And we will look at just the 786. You can see that 786 is coming in right around 102K or 101.9, where we also have the value area high of our previous range. So let's take that previous range again here. Previous range. And you can see the value area highs right up there. Let me do that. Get that right. There we go. A little bit higher. Value area highs coming in around 103. And we have a monthly up here, a daily up here. Yeah, value area high 786 monthly daily. So I would say this box of resistance up here, and let's just drag that up just a bit to match that. Okay, so that area right there is the next major area. If we break 97K to 97.5 to like 96.5, we have 99.5, and then 101.5 to 103K. Those are the only three levels that I'm really going to be paying attention to. Yes, there's smaller levels, of course. Really, we want to start to see daily candle closes above 93K. And if we zoom out on the chart, we just closed our daily candle 9 minutes ago above the value area low. So I am looking at Bitcoin is now re-entering back within this range here. If we can start to back test that 93K, so our very, very first local level of support now. If Bitcoin is done for the day, it's done pumping, and we are about to pull back, our very, very first local level of support is going to be the back test of 93K. Now that we've re-entered that range, you can see here, actually, even earlier today on the 12-minute chart, we had our first big kind of, this was the start of a short squeeze, pushed up. We dropped below it. We were able to get back above it, bullishly back test it, and then we saw another big imbalance candle to the upside here. So, yeah, Bitcoin 93K, but also now that we are re-entering back within that volume profile. Now, I know I talked about this range and I don't like this range so much, but now that we are re-entering back within this volume profile, we can start to look at, let me turn off the intermediate range here. We can start to look at a new range now of just the whole few months of price action. And you can see that value area low is coming in right around 88K as well. Let's actually pull that a little bit longer here. There we go. Yeah, 88 to 86K here, where we could see if Bitcoin does start to really reject, we could come back down to this value area low here. First, I would say 89K, our previous highs in confluence with our intermediate range value area high, is going to be a major level of support that I will be watching for a bullish backtest and continuation higher. Okay, but yeah, Bitcoin's looking really strong, guys. I mean, we had the bullish CVD divs. We are seeing Bitcoin continue to pump. Let's zoom in real locally here and see if we are starting to see any bearish CVD here. Let me just actually refresh this. Okay, so yeah, now, not really. Okay, we're seeing bearish CVD, but not bearish absorption. So you can see here, we have lower highs on the price action, higher highs on the CVD, giving us bearish CVD divs finally, but it's on a decrease overall in open interest. So it's not bearish absorption here, but it is, we're starting to see some exhaustion. Let's just say that we're starting to see some exhaustion. I do think, yeah, Bitcoin's looking strong, guys. Look at the daily candle, though, or the daily market cipher B. That momentum wave is really still curving to the upside, and money flow is now just starting to cross over into the green. This bullish multiple drives of bull div, we said not to fade these multiple drives of bull div, and when we finally hit into our support level, it gave us that signal to look for this bigger relief rally. Also, we were looking for the explosion out of the descending channel, and we got that. So now, Bitcoin, let's just, you know, we wait for the market to come to us. So we mark out our levels and we wait. You know, if you have FOMO, don't be longing now after a pump like this, because if we start to lose some levels, we could flush down fast. Remember, quick move up means quick move down. So we had a very quick move up today. So if we start losing 93K and primarily our anchored VWAP around 90.5, we could flush down really quick down to 89K. All right, guys, that is it for Bitcoin. I'm going to go a bit quicker today. A lot to cover. Ethereum finally came up to our level of resistance that we were talking about. Finally. We were looking for Ethereum to hold this weekly box as support. You can see we were looking for that weekly box to hold overall. We did get one quick flash crash yesterday on Ethereum, but it made like a double bottom here. But overall, it did hold this box of support. Remember, this was our big 5-year long range, our 4-year long range. We bounced from the value area low. Let me get rid of this small range now. Bounced from the value area low, reclaimed the point of control, and we were in the process all week long of backtesting it and holding it as support to see that next move up to our next main box of resistance, which we are kind of at right now. We are at that golden pocket SR flip level where, you know, that big support resistance flip area. And then we also have our previous range value area low that's coming in right in this little area here. So Ethereum doing exactly kind of what we were expecting it to do as well. Now, Ethereum does look a lot more bearish than Bitcoin does. And I would say that I wouldn't be surprised, like I've been saying in the last few videos, if Ethereum does reject and start to form a bigger range within here for a bit, and we can see some consolidation, or even to pump up a little bit higher up to like this 1900 area, and we see a range between 1900 and 1500 for a couple months. But that's pretty much it on Ethereum. Now, on Ethereum, we could look at if we take that small volume profile pull again, and we look at just this volume profile, we can, same thing, we could be looking at this value area high around 1668. You can see our prior highs are close to that area. That would be now a support level we could be looking at. Also, let's actually zoom out onto the daily, and let's mark out that new daily level. So we do have a new daily level, and I'll actually go back to Bitcoin and do this as well now that the day's closed. So we have that daily level around 1579, and I'm sure we're going to have a new naked daily point of control in there as well. Let's switch this to the day. Okay, and let's zoom on to the 4-hour chart so we can get a better look at where that's at. Okay, naked daily point of control around 1700. Naked daily. Okay, let me just do this real quick. 1700. See, okay, we got that there. Let me throw that into my naked daily folder, and then let's do this here. Sorry guys, I don't mean to be doing this during the video, but I just don't want to forget. Okay, so that is about it for Ethereum. Ethereum is kind of at a resistance area, but with the momentum we're seeing here, if Bitcoin keeps pumping, Ethereum's probably going to keep pumping up to this bigger box between 1830 and 1880, 1885. All right, let's now go back to Bitcoin real quick, and I do want to mark out the daily level that okay, no new dailies on Bitcoin, but we do want to mark out that naked daily point of control. Okay, so we have a couple of them here. Let me turn on, I believe I've already got that one marked out. Okay, now this one has been busted through. We can delete this one, or I can just grab it and pull it down to here. Okay, 85, 141. All right, and then we will mark one more out. This guy here, 91K. Okay, 91K is going to be an important area because that's going to be the back test of that pitchfork midline. Okay, there we go. And Bitcoin is continuing to push up. Let's check this out. Wow, Bitcoin, I mean, this thing is going crazy here. I do want to be prepared for a possible short at 97K. Let's see. Okay, let me just double check this. All right, guys. Solana. Solana is looking extremely bullish as well. So we saw Solana yesterday. It was coming up into our purple box of resistance, and we did get a decent rejection from that box. came down and overall held our prior highs. You can see our prior highs were all in this area. Highs, 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 highs. Flipped them to support, and now we're seeing that explosion to the upside here. I am actually very surprised that this box did not hold. We had so much confluence in this box. Now, I did look at it taking a short from this pitchfork. We rejected pretty much to the dollar from that pitchfork. Let's zoom into the 15-minute chart. You can see the first time we hit into it, rejected, and we got a small rejection. But what happened is we grabbed that SFP that I was talking about 147, that SFP, and we came back and back tested the point of control. What used to be, and remember guys, with volume profile trading, same thing happened with the value area low. That's why I longed the value area low at 123. We hit into the value, let me get rid of this smaller range. We hit into the value area low, back tested it as support, worked our way up to the point of control. And now that we are breaking our point of control, we just did a low time frame today. We broke that point of control today. And now if I zoom in on the 15-minute chart again, we broke that, we grabbed liquidity, came back down, back tested it as support, and now we're pushing higher. So what we can expect here on Solana, it's flipping the point of control on low time frame to support. But we have not had a high time frame back test yet. So what I would be looking for now on Solana, we are in a pretty key golden pocket. Let me go ahead and zoom out to the 4-hour chart, and I'm just going to hide this box now. I just can't believe we just busted through that box like that because it was such strong resistance. But Solana, when Solana gets going, it gets going. But if we look at our golden pocket pull from our 180 highs, our last big highs, down to our lows, and we turn on that golden pocket, you can see we're in the golden pocket right now. And actually, I am looking to short this golden pocket if we have confirmation. And I was looking at this, I showed this in a couple videos ago, but the 0.618 was right on that liquidity grab. And that did give us a small scalp short today, by the way. Got stopped out after TP1. Those were the only two trades I took today, one on Bitcoin, one on Solana. And we are in the bigger golden pocket. So let me get rid of this SFP here. You can see we're in our bigger golden pocket, and this is an area where we could pull back from. What I would be looking for, if we pull back from this 150 area, I'd be looking to pull back to back test that point of control again. So that's going to be really our first support level, is that point of control around $143 to $144. If we lose the point of control, I'm expecting a back test of the band around 132. But we're going to go over in depth a little bit later. I'm going to spend some time off screen marking out, because all these boxes of support, they're boxes, but we're going to have some change support now with such a big move to the upside. We can get rid of this one. With such a big move to the upside, we're going to have some new levels of support coming in here. So I will mark those out and let you guys know about those in another video, the next video. But if Solana breaks this golden pocket, then we have the swing failure pattern of our internal highs, our B wave highs and our ABC down into our 786. So I would say that is the next area between 154 and 157 is the next area I would be looking at taking that. Let's put that 786 on. Nope, that's the wrong 786. So wait a second here. Oh, you know what? I didn't change that. Okay, never mind, guys. This box, get rid of it. Forget I said anything about that box. Okay, we still do have this the SFP at 152.9, but that is not going to be 152.9. But that is not going to be our main level of concern now. What I would be looking at is that push up to 161.8, and you can see our anchored VWAP from the all-time high is coming in right around that area. So I would say, let's grab also, our value area high is much higher. It's at our next major box of resistance. But I would say this level here at 161.8, we could see, because our anchored VWAP from the highs are coming in there, in that general area. So let's mark that out. Now this anchored VWAP is going to start to flatten out with this pump, but this general area between 165 and 161.5, 161.84, I mean. That is the area that I'm primarily going to be watching for the next resistance, if we don't SFP these internal highs. And then let's actually go to our next Solana chart, because you can see right around that area. First of all, we do have a naked daily point of control also at 161.89. So right at that 786. Let's just grab that 786 and throw it on from this chart. You can see 786 has the naked daily point of control right there. And our pitchfork midline is coming in around that area, but we would have to kind of chop for a bit here to get alignment there. It would have to be closer to Thursday or Friday. But yes, we are in our golden pocket right now. We are breaking our little range highs. I think we could come a little bit higher to break these 152.9 highs. But I am looking, Solana is starting to see some pretty big bear divs here. You can see on the 4-hour chart, higher highs through here. Right here, we already had lower highs. Now, if this thing does top out right now and rolls over, it will be a very slight lower high, and money flow is kind of coming down here. So I'm looking for a pullback on Solana. Solana's been really good, really strong, and also I continue to remain overall bullish on Solana up to $200, $180 to $200. But I would say that Solana does need a pullback here. That's about it. Let's see, 1-hour chart. Let's look at our 1-hour chart. Money flow still looks strong on the hourly. We are seeing some local bear divs, higher highs here, lower highs here, but money flow overpowers that. So you really want to see another high coming in and then another lower hump coming in, multiple drives of bear div. Let's go to the 15-minute real quick. Let's see how this looks. Okay, 15-minute is seeing bear divs, but once again, money flow's coming back up and looking pretty strong. So I'm not looking to short off 15-minute bear divs, even into a golden pocket with this money flow looking like this. Now, if we SFP 152.9, I will, and we're continuing to see bear divs come in, I will look for that short. Only on the confirmed SFP, though. Okay, didn't mean to do that. Okay. Get out of here, yes. All right. And now what we could be looking at is next up on the chart. But also before we go on, what I would be looking at now is for Solana. Let's zoom back out to the 4-hour chart. And I would be looking at that bigger intermediate range. This kind of range here from after the impulse finished over. If we start to lose the value area high again, which you can see we're pretty much at the value area high right now, I'd probably be looking for a move all the way back down to the value area low of this small range. Let's actually take our local golden pocket pull. Yeah, local golden pocket, 786 area. Okay, actually this looks nice. 133 to 132.85, because you can see we have our lows, our intraday, yesterday's lows right below that area. So that would be the area that I would be looking for a potential bounce if we do something like this. If we reject, bounce, continue up to 161, 162-ish. 133.7 to 132.85. And then if we break that, we're probably going to come back to back test our point of control down here at 126-ish. All right, that is it for Solana. Let's go to XRP. Now, guys, same thing with XRP. The last couple weeks, last week, we've been consolidating at our box of resistance at the bigger midline of our descending channel. And I was really talking about how if we can hold this descending channel, it's also the value area low of our ranges, not this range. Let me go to the bigger range. So let me delete this range. Our bigger range all the way from December. You can see, remember, I've been talking about this. We came up to the value area low, rejected, found a higher low, finally busted through the value area low, and all last week we were in the process of back testing that value area low to see if it was going to hold as support. And we did say that if this box and this channel midline and this value area low held as support, we would continue to push up, probably up to 237, our box, our daily up there. And we are well on our way to doing that. Now, we did see a very slight liquidity grab today of these highs. You can see we got that. Let me zoom in now onto the 15-minute chart. You can see we got a liquidity grab and a small pullback, but it is now continuing to push back up. Money flow still looks pretty strong on the 15-minute. We are seeing some 15-minute bear divs. Let's go to the hourly chart. Hourly money flow looks strong. No bear divs on the hourly. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour, no bear divs. Money flows just crossing into the green now. I think XRP has a very high likelihood of continuing up to the golden pocket in the daily level between 235 and 237. And then if we break that, now remember, this is only a smaller resistance level. So we could easily break this first purple box of resistance and come up to our bigger, much stronger box of resistance, where that is between 241 and 245, where we have a naked weekly point of control, a fresh weekly level, our anchored VWAP from the all-time highs, our large range point of control, and yeah, that's it. That's it. That's a lot. That's what we have there. So I would say that is the area that is the real big resistance on the chart, kind of equal to Bitcoin's 97K area. All right, that is it for XRP. Now, XRP, no, that's not it for XRP. Let's go over real quick the local support levels, just in case we get a retrace. I would be saying this golden pocket around $2.11 is going to be the area, because you can see all of our prior highs were in this area. And then if we just take a volume profile of our little range here, our little range sideways here. Okay, point of control is a little bit higher than that. Let's, okay, I don't like that, how that point of control is a bit higher than that, but let's bring it all the way to that liquidation wick, the more sideways, right after that liquidation wick. Okay, so point of control is a bit higher. So in that general area, I would say our support area, our local support area now is really going to be between 213 and 211. That is our new support area. That if we see a small pullback from this SFP, I would be looking for this box to bounce to continue up to these next purple boxes of resistance. But it's looking strong overall, guys. And XRP is kind of making the same sort of potential contracting diagonal correction here. The correction was a bit of a steeper correction, like a descending channel, and now it's starting to push up. So let's actually look at this real quick while we're here. We could see that bigger A, B, C to the upside and then just crash again. So let's check out our targets for that ABC, and let's just make that, let's make ourselves aware of that area. Wow. Okay. So, okay. 283 to 306, guys. And look at this 306 area. You'd be grabbing this liquidity up here. XRP could pump a lot more. XRP could really explode. It's lagging behind Bitcoin. Let's just say that. Okay, that is it for XRP. Now let's go to Chainlink real quick. And I'm sorry, guys, I still haven't cleaned up my chart on Chainlink. But yesterday on Chainlink, we were talking about breaking back above the value area low, back testing the value area low, holding it as support. We were seeing that small pullback here. We didn't even pull back to our local golden pocket area where we said local resistance would be. And now we're finally hitting into our box of resistance, where I did say yesterday that I am looking for us to continue up to this box of resistance. We are breaking through it. You can see we had a small reaction there, but really nothing much. And this was a strong box of resistance as well, guys. We had a golden pocket, a naked daily point of control, a daily level, and a range point of control in this area. And it's breaking this area. So next area, if we don't see our reaction here, if we don't have confirmations to enter, we don't trade it. Next area, I would say, is this next box up here. We have our liquidity grab into our value area high. You can see the SFP of these semi-equal highs here into our value area high of our range. And also, I do believe that is going to be our gold, no, not golden pocket, 786 area. 786 is just above that. So I would say that's our next general area. Actually, I would even do this because the SFP, let's extend this box a little bit. That's our area here between 1446 and 1474-ish. And then if we break that, this is a really, really strong box. Naked weekly point of control, naked daily point of control, daily level. We'll look up to there. Now, as far as bear divs go on Link, though, we are seeing bigger bear divs on Link than we are on some of the other coins. Look at on the 4-hour chart. Bear divs forming here. Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, they don't have bear divs on the charts on the 4-hour. Link is. Let's go to the 1-hour chart. 1 hour chart is seeing some slight bear divs here, but money flow looks strong. So money flow is going to overpower those bear divs. So I'd expect a continuation up to our next box. And let's go ahead and look at the 15-minute. Yeah, bear divs on the 15-minute. Money flow's finally starting to top off a little bit here. But now that we're above this box of resistance here, I would really be looking for us to continue to grind our way up to the next box of resistance, to that value area high around 14.6, and then that would give us enough time to see multiple drives of bear div on the 15, and by then hopefully your money flow would be kind of coming out more aggressive on you. Okay, now let's go to total chart real quick here while we're here. Let's go onto the daily chart. Okay, total chart finally broke out of this little descending channel. Let me get rid of this. We were just looking at a small descending channel in here for that 1 week. I know what I just do. Okay, we were looking at this small descending channel. You could see it broke out of that channel, back tested that channel, and then we saw the real push up. So the channel was working, and we did get that bullish back test, which you want to see in a healthy market. Now we're seeing that real big push up. So now we can get rid of this channel. It's been broken out of, and let's zoom back out to the daily chart, and let's look at, we are finally grabbing our highs from April or the end of March, right around when Trump was about to start the tariffs here, and I do think that it could push all the way up to backtest this pitchfork that we lost. So depending on how long that takes, it could be an SFP of these highs. An SFP of 3.12 trillion into the pitchfork, bearish retest of that pitchfork. And then we could see that dump. Also, if we do a volume profile pull, let's do this. Yeah, I would say that's the general area we need to be looking, because you can see it's the bearish retest of our value area low in confluence with the bearish retest of the pitchfork that we broke down with some liquidity resting up there. But everything right now, guys, is looking still strong. Like our daily money flow looks good, just crossing over into the green. Total 3 chart. We bounced from the bottom of the pitchfork. We rejected from the top of the pitchfork, came all the way down to the bottom. I talked about this all the way back in November. You guys can go watch the videos if you don't believe me. But now if we can reclaim this band. So one of the things I'm worried about is rejecting from the top of this band a bit here and seeing a pullback on some altcoins. We can get rid of this now. But if we can start to break this band and flip it to support, maybe altcoins are going to have a huge run up to the pitchfork midline. And if we go ahead and look at just our golden pocket pull from the high to the low, I know that's not the high, but we're looking at this little piece here. Let's go to our golden pocket. Yeah, golden pocket in confluence with that pitchfork midline. That's where I'd be saying. And if total 3 chart pumps this much, man, alts are going to be looking juicy for longs, like juicy. Mini alt season, I would say. Okay, guys, that is it. I've got to get going here. If this video helped you at all, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Also, I do have 2 partners and sponsors of the channel, BYDFI and MEXC. BYDFI is offering a really good campaign right now. You can get up to $8,100 in bonuses, depending on how much you deposit. You get 15% back, cash back on your first deposit up to $8,000, I believe. And they are offering 17% trading discounts on trading fees. And MEXC is also offering discounts on trading fees and some cash back. Both links are in the description. They are affiliate links, so if you do sign up, I get a small kickback, but you guys also win by getting discounted fees. If you are interested, links are in the description. Have a good one, everyone.